West Ham has really gone into beast mode this season, bringing in the experienced Julen Lopetegui and backing him by signing some elite talent as well. So this begs the question, can West Ham shock the league? Hit that subscribe button and let's go find out together. Every year, West Ham kinda looks like a dark horse, but in the end, nothing much comes out of it. However, there's something about the upcoming season that just feels different. First off, it's the signing of coach Julen Lopetegui. Lopetegui is one of the most experienced managers in the world, with a resume that only a few can measure up to or surpass. His exploits with Wolves and Sevilla quickly come to mind. With Sevilla, he finished in the top 4 on 3 consecutive occasions in La Liga, and also won the UEFA Europa League trophy in 2020 after defeating European giants Inter Milan. Then, at Wolves, he helped them go from the bottom of the table to 13th in 2023, although he would eventually leave there due to some conflict of interest with the club's management. You see, Lopetegui's philosophy centers around patient or cautious possession football. The opponent can't do anything if the ball is in his team's possession, right? Well, that's exactly the idea. This means his team concedes less, but also doesn't score too much. This is evident during his time with Sevilla, where he averaged 1.38 goals per match. Lopetegui favors the 4-3-3 formation, with the 3 midfielders standing by as the soul of the system. One defensive midfielder is to join the defense in case the fullbacks push up, and also help the centre-backs recycle possession. Another is a box-to-box midfielder with a free role to roam about on the pitch and join the attack or defense when needed. Then there's the heartbeat of the midfield, the playmaker, whose job it is to control the tempo of the game, which is usually very slow. This is a huge shift from the more ultra-defensive approach of the previous coach, David Moyes. Moyes favoured the 4-2-3-1 formation, which set up his players deep in defence, and waited for the opponents to make a mistake so they could hit on the counter. Keeping the ball wasn't in his books. At one point last season, West Ham had the 3rd worst possession stats, with an average of 38.1% per match. But all that is set to change next season, and West Ham fans should be excited. That being said, Lopetegui might not be a defense-first manager like Moyes, but he emphasizes defensive solidity and organization. Plus, his formations are sometimes fluid enough, though he often prefers the 4-3-3. For example, while at Wolves, Lopetegui adopted the 4-4-2 formation against Klopp's high-octane Liverpool and chose to defend deeper than usual. This system helped defeat Liverpool 3-0 while holding them to just 4 shots on target. Additionally, his Sevilla team conceded only 33 goals in 38 La Liga matches, which is their 3rd best defensive record in 2019 to 2020. For the 21 to 22 season, they were the best team defensively in La Liga, further demonstrating his proficiency defensively. It might also interest you to note that he takes the team to dinner whenever they get a clean sheet. Long story short, Lopetegui's past defensive record is quite impressive, to be fair. During the 19 to 20 and 21 to 22 seasons, Sevilla came second only to City in the top 5 leagues in Europe, with the most clean sheets with 73 games. EPL teams really should be shaken. Guillem Balaguer, a Spanish author and journalist, has stated this about Lopetegui. The hammers are in the hands of someone who will mold players in his own unique style. He'll now be asking them to think, act, and use their playing instincts differently. Indeed, this molding would start from the defense. That is why West Ham has made some bold signings that can slot in well in defense. The likes of Aaron Wan-Bissaka from Manchester United, Jean-Claude Todibo from Nice, and Max Kilman from Wolves have been added to the squad. Now, even though many think Wan-Bissaka was a flop at United, there are certain areas where he could be crucial at West Ham. For one, his one-on-one defending is simply elite, even against world-class wingers. Last season, he ranked in the top 7% of fullbacks with the most successive tackles against dribblers. Wan-Bissaka is a huge upgrade on Vladimir Sofal. whose skills lie mostly in the opponent's half of the pitch. In attack, Wan-Bissaka can make those much-needed overlapping runs that could open up opportunities for crosses, which is a huge part of Lopetegui teams. Jean-Claire Todibo is another great signing from West Ham. I mean, the Hammers had to ward off stern interest from Juventus to sign the star. Why? The young defender is very comfortable with the ball on his feet, which is exactly what Lopetegui would be looking for from his centre-halves. West Ham technical director is well aware of this. That's why he said, he's got proven pedigree in European football, especially in France, where he has shone in recent years, showing all of his qualities as one of the finest ball-playing centre-halves in League One. Then there's Max Kilman at left centre-back. The left-footer signed for the Hammers for £40 million, and what he brings to the table in defence is a superior aerial presence. Speaking of which, last season he ranked 8th in aerial duels with 89 won and 3rd in headed clearance with 101 registered. Add to that is his precise passes from defence, especially those accurate long balls that can help West Ham quickly turn defence into attack. Not to mention that he's familiar with Lopetegui's style since he was coached by him at Wolves. Besides, he's equally rock solid in defence. His 116 possessions won in defence, 34 blocks, and 179 clearances last season are proof enough of this. That's not all. We're just scratching the surface because there are other exciting players added to the team, especially in midfield, such as Guido Rodriguez, for instance. But before we get to him, if you're enjoying this video, please like, share, and remember to hit that subscribe button. Guido Rodriguez will serve to strengthen the team with his role lying deep in midfield. As mentioned earlier, this role is super important in Lopetegui's system. Guido's duty is to join the centre-halves in recycling possession, making interceptions, and breaking up the flow of the game for his opponents. Speaking of which, the Argentine international's ball recoveries, clearances, and dribbler tackle successes last season for Real Betis was simply insane. Also in defensive midfield is the tall Edson Alvarez, so it's going to be fun to see how Lopetegui can make these two work. What's more, although James Ward-Prowse isn't a new addition to the team, his influence in the new-look West Ham would be massive. He's not only a set-piece specialist, but he was also the best playmaker for West Ham last season. His passing was amazing, with some sections of fans calling him West Ham's very own Toni Kroos. Then there's the super skillful LucasPaqueta, who can be the midfield general dictating the pace of the game. The Brazilian can also play different roles in midfield. Imagine having better players around him this upcoming season. I'm salivating. I mean, think about Paqueta, Kudus, Ward-Prowse and more linking up with their new signings in attack, Somerville and Fulkrug, particularly Somerville. The signing of Crescencio Somerville was a bold statement that says that West Ham is ready to challenge at the highest level. Somerville is adept at taking on defenders. He can cross and score goals at will. In fact, he's the complete winger. His feats at Leeds last season can't be ignored. He racked up an impressive 31 goals and assists for them last season, and was also in the 9th percentile of successful take-ons per 90 minutes. He had a staggering 6.1 shot-creating actions, which happened to be in the 1 percentile. Little wonder why he was the Championship Player of the Year. Since Lopetegui is expected to deploy the 4-3-3 or 3-4-2-1 formation, Somerville could cause problems from that left wing as usual, and combine well with Bowen in the right flank, while Kudus does his thing in the middle and Fulkrug up front. Speaking of Fulkrug, the German is the cherry on the top of this promising West Ham side. Let me explain. Niklas Fulkrug was the top scorer at Bremen during the 22-23 season with 16 goals, and last season he was simply fantastic for Dortmund, becoming the man for the big occasion and also the top scorer for the Bundesliga side. He netted crucial goals against Atletico and PSG in the Champions League, helping Dortmund reach the Champions League final. He has also scored 13 goals and 21 caps for the German national team. Füllkrug, a late bloomer, is expected to bring his experience to lead the West Ham attack as the pure number 9 and target man, which they've been missing for some time now as Michail Antonio just doesn't cut it. The 31-year-old is tall and strong, allowing him to excel in the air. Add to that is his link-up and hold-up play. His incredible 8 assists last term is a testament to his ability to get his teammates involved. Dortmund sporting director perfectly described Füllkrug when he said, "Niklas is a playmaking attacker, very strong with his head, physically impressive, convincing in one-on-one duels, and unpleasant for his opponents to face." With Kudus and co feeding him the ball, and Somerville and Bowen on the wings doing the same, West Ham has an array of attackers that the EPL isn't ready for. On the flip side, still, with a manager like Pep Guardiola at the helm, it wouldn't surprise anyone if they achieved a 5th successive title. Arsenal has also been quiet, but they added Ricardo Calafiore to shore up that defence, and they look set to usurp City next season. Liverpool has looked good thus far in pre-season, but Chelsea and United don't look. West Ham team is the team everyone needs to look out for. Like I said before, they are set to shock everyone. With all their new signings this season totaling over 100 million, they could be the dark horses this season and prove everyone wrong by making it into the top 4. So to answer the question, can West Ham shock the league? Well, if you go by the significant changes that have been made both on and off the field, coupled with Julen Lopetegui's managerial philosophy and organisational skills, West Ham will certainly shock everyone this upcoming season. So fans can keep their fingers crossed, because as it stands, West Ham has all the tools to make it into the top 4 and impress. But do you think they would actually do well? Let us know in the comments section, and don't forget to like and subscribe.